All right. Hello, listeners, and welcome to Leading the Way in RVA. Today is an extra special session that we're recording here at the Feedmore headquarters with a live audience. So the purpose of Leading the Way RVA is twofold. First and foremost is to introduce you to inspiring leaders here in the Richmond area. And then the second purpose is to give you some tactical leadership tips that you can take away to grow yourself as a leader. So we'll spend the first 10 minutes or so hearing all about our special guest today. And then the last 15, we'll dive into a leadership topic of the guest choice. And as always, at the end, we'll have the guest nominate future guests for future episodes. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our incredibly special guest today. And I say that because we've recorded, I think, about 12 sessions so far. And as you know, at the end, I always ask for nominations. And this guest has been nominated at least twice so far, just in 12 sessions. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Kelly Till, President of Lee Enterprises and Richmond Times-Dispatch. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes. So one thing I know for sure that makes you extra special is you, out over 175 years, are the first female president of Lee Enterprises and the Richmond Times-Dispatch.
That is correct.
That is incredibly inspiring.
It took too long. When I became president, we were 172 years. We're turning 175 this year on October 19th. Can't believe it. But think about that. 172 years to finally put a female in this position. Yay! Yes. So, honored and humbled and all of the things, but, I stand on a lot of shoulders of many incredible leaders and humans that were before me, but happy that we broke the ceiling.
Yes, so inspiring.
Thank
So
you.
I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about what got you to this position. I mean, there had to be a lot of scratching and crawling and climbing to get there, but would love to just hear a little bit about your journey and some of the pivotal moments that brought you to where you are today.
Sure. I'm a Virginia gal. I grew up in Hampton, Virginia, raised by a single mother. So I think that's what's made me scrappy. And I went to Old Dominion University and I thought I was going to be an accountant, and then quickly, because that's what my mother was, and she's still alive and my hero, but I realized after a few classes that wasn't me. So
I think I had a tutor for accounting. That's not me either.
So I went the marketing route. I had a girlfriend that worked at the Virginian Pilot in Norfolk, Virginia, and she said, you should come work for Landmark Communications, and they're debt-free, family-owned, and so I needed a job, and I said, sure. So I started in an entry-level position as a marketing coordinator in 1996. Thought I was only going to be there for 2 years. Ended up being there 24 years. Crazy. You just never know where life's going to lead you. Started in marketing, then went into sales and then leadership. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, I was recruited by Lee Enterprises to come to Richmond. Was not looking for a job. I was extremely happy. Had built a great team, very connected in Hampton Roads. I was doing my thing, raising my children. But I don't know, I just had this feeling that this was an opportunity I should look into. And it was for a VP of sales and marketing for all of Lee's properties across Virginia, and there's 12. Lee has 72 markets across the country. 12 of those 72 are in Virginia, and those are the ones I lead. The hub is Richmond, obviously, because we're the largest market, but the big 6 out of the 12 are Richmond, Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, Bristol, Roanoke, and Lynchburg. So a lot of people think I just run the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I wish. That would be cake. That would be a cakewalk. Not really, but it would be a lot easier. But so I run the whole state. So I thought that would be a great opportunity. So luckily, my husband, I'm married, happily married, have 5 kids, blended, beautiful family who I love and that keep me busy. And we also have a greyhound, a rescue greyhound.
Aww.
But we, in 2020, decided to move from Hampton Roads to Richmond, and we love it. So we went from cul-de-sac living, I like to call it, to urban living, because now we live in the museum district, and did not really know that many people in Richmond. I left a team that I had built to a team that was unknown, and so.
And it was 2020. People
It was
weren't really
20.
going
No one
out.
wanted to talk. No one wanted to meet. It took me forever to meet my neighbors, and long story short, came in as the VP of marketing in 2020, then became the first female president in 2022, and I've been doing that ever since. So you can imagine I've seen a lot of change in our industry. I have a lot of stories, and I wouldn't say I clawed my way up. I've just been very fortunate. I have had an amazing career. I did not get here alone. No one does. I've been very fortunate to have a killer mother, who has supported me along the way, family members, friends, mentors, some amazing mentors, and some incredible leaders. Some not so incredible, but the majority of them have been incredible. And the ones that weren't so great, I learned from them too, because I learned what I didn't want to do. And mentors and leaders that gave me an opportunity, that pushed me, that saw things in me that I didn't see in myself at the time, that gave me a hug when I needed it, or just space to be and to learn and to grow. And so I feel very, very fortunate. But if you had asked me, when I started in media in 1996, that I'd be the first female president of the Richmond Times-Dispatch and I would live in Richmond, Virginia, I would have told you, heck to the no. I didn't see that in my path, but that's where the path has led me, and I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't.
I love that. Yeah, if you had asked me if I'd ever be a podcast host 10 years ago, I'd be like, what is a podcast and what are you talking about? So I hear you on that, which I find interesting because I feel like a lot of leaders that I speak to have a very crisp, clear vision, and that's what drives them, and they're just on a mission to accomplish that, and they do, and it's very inspiring. And then I hear other leaders who are like, nope, that wasn't really in my cards. It was just working and doing and trusting others that led me to where I am today, which sounds like a little bit more of the path you went on. What are some of the big leadership lessons that you've learned throughout this journey?
Well, I think you're only as good as the people you choose to surround yourself with. Because I see people that surround themselves with a lot of people, but they're not necessarily the people they should choose to surround themselves with. And what I mean by that is people that are supporting you in rooms when you're not there, people that give you tough love, tough talk. And so I've learned that along the way, and I had to learn that the hard way, because I surrounded myself with a lot of people because I'm an extrovert and I like people and I feel like I'm pretty authentic, and that didn't always serve me well. So I'm very purposeful with who I surround myself with, and I try to teach my children that, and then also, the people that report to me. Also, embrace the journey. There's so many people, and when I was younger, because I'm type A, and I want to get an A on everything, and I was checking the box, and I wanted to get married right out of college. I wanted to have the white picket fence. I wanted to be a manager in 2 years, and that didn't work out for me. My first marriage was a failure. I got 2 great daughters out of it, and where the path I thought I was going to go down wasn't the path I went down, nor the path that I should have gone down. So embrace your journey, lean in, trust. Sometimes where you think you're going down the road isn't the road you're supposed to be going down, but it really is. So there's defining times in your personal life and your professional life that happen, and that happened to me. Times where you think this is where I'm going, and then something changes, like moving to Richmond. I would have never thought that, but this is where I'm supposed to be right now. So I always try to say embrace change. Also believe in yourself, and trust your values, because that's really, it's part of the authenticity. People want to work and be around people that are authentic, and that are true to themselves. When I was younger, trying to claw up and get that next promotion, I tried to be who I thought they wanted me to be.
The shoulds.
And
Yeah.
that didn't work out either. And so once I stopped doing that, and luckily mentors and a couple leaders helped me see that, and my mother, who always tells me what I should be doing differently. God bless her. God bless her. I started to just be me, and I started to raise my hand and push back and ask and be present, and that's worked out for me. But that's not always an easy thing to do. So, just believe in yourself. Don't let someone tell you what you can do. Because if I had listened, I would not be in this seat now, because I had a lot of bosses that tried to put me in a box. Even at the Virginian Pilot, because I was the first female advertising director from internal in the company too. It was all men. Nothing's wrong with the men. I love all the men, and I've had some amazing male leaders. One of my best mentors and leader that I've learned the most from is a man named Bruce Bradley, who I still stay in contact with. But he really took a chance on me, and that's somebody just needs to take a chance on you. And I was fortunate enough to have that. So that. Surround yourself with good people, embrace the journey, believe in yourself, don't let someone tell you what you can't do. And then the last thing is leave a legacy. Leave things and people that you're around and that you're learning from in a better place than when you first met the individual or you first took over the project or challenge, whatever. I think by being raised by a single mom, and we had humble beginnings, and we had to count on places like Feedmore, to survive. I try to give back, and if you do that, you get it back in tenfold. You do, and so I really try to tell my kids to lean in, and to give back, because really, if you help someone, you might not know when it's going to help you. It could be helping you at them in the moment. It could be filling your cup or what you needed for that day. But I've found just even months or sometimes years later, I'm like, wow, that was, I'm so glad I did whatever that was by giving back. And that's up, that's a personal, whatever gives you joy, whatever, gets you excited is what you should lean into.
Yeah, we share that similar value of impact. Like for me, it's leaving things better than I found it.
Yes.
So I love make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about that and who you want those 5 people to be. We share too a value of adventure. Enjoy the journey and see where it may take you, and be open to change. And then I love the piece about be you. I feel like that comes up so often in the coaching work that I do. It's helping, there's 5 stages of human development, and I think stage 3 is the socialized stage, and that is all about we are just who society says we should be. Mm-hmm. I have middle schoolers. This really happens in middle school. They don't want to be anything other than what everybody else is for the most part. And so, I even put, some art in my yard, and my kids are, mortified because nobody else has art in their yard. Oh! Yeah. And then the next stage after socialization is self-authored, and that's what I'm hearing you say is you break away from the societal norms that everybody tells you should be this, and you should do that, and you can do this, and you can't do that, and then you step into I'm going to be whoever the heck I want to be. Mm-hmm. And that
comes with age, too.
It comes with maturity.
It gets a little easier, or at least it's gotten easier for me, because now I'm in my 50s, and I don't give a rip. I mean, I do, but you know yourself better as you age and as you get more experience.
Yeah, I'm in my 40s, and I remember turning 40 and a friend being like, it's the best because you just don't care anymore what other people think. But what I heard you say there, and I think is so true, and I help people with this in coaching, is getting clear on their values. So when you know your values, then you can tie back to them, and they're your compass in being authentic. So I'm curious, like what's helped you kind of step into your authentic self? Has it been like leadership programs or books or just living?
You know, again, it goes back to mentors, friends, my mama that tells me when I'm, you know, acting up, when I'm not being me.
So it goes back to surrounding yourself with the people that can keep you in check with who you truly are.
Accountability, or you know, I always would say I'm fine, because you can imagine. I have a lot of stories, and we don't have time for all those today, but I've got a lot of stories, and I've seen a lot of change, and I would always say I'm fine, and then I'd have that one girlfriend. This happened just recently. A friend that I've met in Richmond, and I'm like, I'm fine, and she says, no, you're not. And then I'm like, oh yeah, and then we have our, you know, and then we have our therapy session, and then I feel great, you know. But I needed that. I needed someone to say, no, you're not. Let's talk about it. What do you need? And then, you know, and then it really does take a village. And that's why it's so important that you have people that really care about you and that are wanting you to succeed, and they feel success by your success, right? Or your joy.
It makes me smile because there's 3 girls that we've been best friends since preschool. 2 of them are in the back of the room. The other one, if everybody would pray for her, she's dealing with a lot of different health issues. But they are like that to me. Like, they are the people that are like, you are not fine.
I have a group like that. We call ourselves the OG 5 because we're the original 5 from Hampton High School. And we get together multiple times a year. We're all over the place now. But, I always leave, you know, those dinners or wind downs or weekends, you know, just refreshed and ready to conquer the world.
Yeah. What I'm hearing there is having a sounding board.
Yes.
So whether personally it's your friends or your family, professionally, that's so much of what a coach is. So a coach is somebody that creates a safe, confidential space for you to be like, I am not fine. I just took this huge role and I have no idea what I'm doing. And then helping you get grounded in that. And
being that for someone else too, because making sure that you're not just taking away from somebody's cup, you're also filling the cup. Because I've had friends, too, that I've had to liberate who just took, and they never gave. And you want to be around people and coworkers and any humans that you interact with that not only take, but they also give back.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, you know, just having impact, you know, always thinking of how are you going to make the situation or the person or, you know, whatever it is better.
Yeah, and I would think giving is something I'm super passionate about, which is listening. So like being a good listener and holding a safe space for someone is a key element of being a great leader.
I would agree with that.
So we've already really dove into talking a lot about leadership based on some of the lessons that you've learned, but curious, what's a leadership topic that you have in mind to chew on here today?
There's so many. You know, I would say what's topical right now for me is, well, and it's been since day one, is just leading through change. There's always change. Luckily, I am a change agent. I thrive on change, and so that's helped me along the way. Sometimes you should, but you shouldn't change just for change's sake. So that's, again, you need people around you to, you know, pull you back, because I'm an activator. I want to I want to execute. I want to do it. And so I've learned that sometimes that's not the best way. You need some people around you so you don't fall off the cliff, you know. And obviously, you know, our business, we've gone through a lot of change, and we continue to, as we should. And what a lot of people don't realize is they always think because of my position, I came through news. I did not come through news. Also, the structure of our business is completely different now. So even though I'm the president and publisher, I've stopped using publisher word because it's kind of an old word and it gives this word picture of what I'm not. I'm in charge of strategy, innovation, sales, and community partnerships. I'm not in charge of the newsroom circulation. Now, they have a dotted line to me, but because our business is so large, we have centralized these pieces of our business, and so they report up to a VP of content for news or a VP of circulation, or what we call audience. But guess who gets all the complaints? Because my name and number and email are on page 2 of every newspaper that we own across Virginia.
Wow.
And that's fine, but so people don't quite understand what my role is. And then they don't understand, they still think of us as just a newspaper, and we're so much more than that. Print is still very important. It's still profitable. We print 45 different newspapers out of the Hanover location. If you ever want a tour and see the Daily Miracle, come see me. I'm giving a tour later on this afternoon. I love doing that. When I started in the business, we were 100% print. Mm-hmm. And now when you look at the revenue for advertising, print represents 20%. 80% of our revenue is digital, as it should be, because that's growing. That's where, those profits we reinvest in tools, talent, and technology. So we have a sustainable business. Our audience is growing. Print audience is declining. It's not dead. There's still people that like to read their content, on paper. I'm one of them. I've never made the Kindle shift with books. Mm-hmm. I obviously look at our content online because I can't. I would just be reading newspapers all day if I didn't. But I like the, just the feel of, I like to rip things out and all the things. But we're evolving, we're changing, and but the word picture is still just the printing press. So I try to evangelize what we're doing, how we're evolving, ensuring that we're keeping democracy alive, that we're investing in journalism that matters. That's important to me. That's why I've been in the business so long, because my why is people and the mission. And I get both of those things with what I get to do, because I get to work with some amazing humans inside, my team and the company, and then I get to work with some amazing humans in the community, and that fuels me. And we get to make a difference every day, if we choose to, and we should choose to. So with all that said, I've seen a lot of change. And so but not every person is built the way I am. And that's a good thing, because diversity is good. I'm a real big proponent of diversity, and having diverse, killer talent in a room, trying to solve a problem or working on a project together, because what happens is you get this diverse perspective, which then creates innovation, which then creates profits. So for companies that don't want or aren't thinking diversity is a good thing, they're foolish. Because if I just, I think I'm pretty good, but if I had a bunch of Kellys on my team, we would fail, because I'm a little extra. And I need people, to round me out. And we all do. And so I'm really leaning into helping, and the world is changing. So I'm really leaning into helping my team have success through change.
Yes.
So I like to hire people that have grit and gas. And gas is, they give us shiitake. I was trying to figure out how I say that on this podcast. They give us shiitake. Mm-hmm. They care. They lean in. They show up. They have their teammates' backs. So that's what I look for. I like people that work hard and they're nice.
Yes.
It really makes a difference for your culture, and it's where you win. And then grit, I like people with grit. I have grit.
So you got to say what grit is, because all these Southerners, we're thinking about grit.
Yeah, grits. Grit is basically, you're gritty. What grit stands for is G.A.S for growth. You're curious. You want to learn. You want to grow. You're not going to just coast. I like to say we don't coast, we close. We don't. So you want to be around people that want to grow. And if you're not growing, think about how you can grow. So I'm really trying to get our employees to think about that. R is resilience. You've got to be, there's going to be setbacks in your life, your personal life, your professional life that happen that stuff happens. Stuff happens, but it's how you get through that and bounce back, and then you're typically stronger than ever. Whether it's a health issue or it's a demotion or a layoff or whatever, being resilient in that moment, because typically you'll find later that wasn't necessarily as bad as you thought it was as you were going through it. And there's a lot of that right now. I just moved my entire team not my entire team, half the team from downtown Norfolk to our Hanover facility, and there's a lot of people that were not happy about that. So getting them, now they are, and then we have an amazing reimagined space that's secure, and that now all of our employees in Richmond are under one roof, which is really good. So I digress, but growth, resilience, impact. I is impact. Know your why. Give back, be impactful. Everything you do. If you're just showing up for work and you don't really, care, go do something else. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping your teammates. You're not helping the community. But there's so many people that are miserable that I see, and I just have to have a conversation with them, and I do it out of love. I do. We need to find you a place where you can be successful, because this isn't it. This isn't it.
I love it. My question when that happens is I'll bring the person in and I'll be like, hey, it appears to me that this isn't really working for you. What would you do if you weren't doing this?
Right.
And then if they say, oh, I can't imagine doing anything other than this, and I'm like, okay, we need to coach you up.
Right.
Or if they're like, I would be a forest ranger, then I'm like, well, then let's talk about what we can do to help you be a forest ranger.
Let's see what that looks like, right?
Yes.
I can't tell you how many people I like to say liberate versus terminate, because it's liberating for me, because it shouldn't be a surprise, and they should go do something else. It's liberating for them. They don't always know it till later, because they were in the wrong role. And I can't tell you how many people have come back later and said, thank you. I'm now a real estate agent, and I'm loving it, and I'm doing this, that's what makes me excited to when that happens. So that's I. And then the last is T, which is trust. Which is basically trust in yourself, trust in your teammates, show up every day, with your authentic self, and that's really it. And when you have all of those things working together, not only with yourself, because we're all more successful and useful together than alone. That's when you create a powerhouse, and that's when you really create magic. I've seen it, and there's ebbs and flows. If you had talked to me a year ago, I would have really been struggling with this, because my team was struggling, and you feel that. Now I feel like we're all rowing in the same direction, and I'm seeing great things, and we're working together. But will we hit, a bump in the road again? Sure. Absolutely. Just figuring out how to not only get yourself, because when you're a leader, you're the captain of the ship. If you look nervous and you're angry and upset, guess what? Everybody else is.
Yes, the leader sets the weather in the company and the
Yes.
organization.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I love working with leaders, because you get them good, the rest of the organization gets in step. So what I hear is, when it comes to leading change, starts with diversity. So you've got to have diverse thought. You can't have all Kellys in the room. And then that helps drive innovation. And then you've got to have G.A.S, which is, what did we say?
You give a shiitake.
Give a shiitake.
You care.
Yep.
You show up every day. You want to make a positive impact.
Yes. And then you've got to have grit. And if you love to read, I would say, have you read Carol Dweck's Growth Mindset?
I'm not.
Ooh, so that's a good one. She talks all about grit. She's a researcher, and she talks about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And I love it in elementary schools and things now. They talk about growth mindset, and it's all about having grit and the belief that you can continue to develop yourself, that you're not just stuck who you are.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I'll put that on my list.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, there are so many amazing nuggets that you shared today, surrounding yourself with the right people, enjoying the adventure, and that there's highs and that there's lows. And then all of these great tips around leading change. So thank you so much. You are a busy woman who is doing amazing
I'm
things.
happy to be here. This is what I love doing. You've all filled my cup today, so thank you.
Thank you. Well, we always end our time with having our guests nominate potential future guests.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd love to just have you think about who might be 2 or 3 leaders here in the community that really inspire you.
2 or 3? Oh, gosh. This is one of the reasons why I love Richmond. This is a special place. And I got to be honest with you. I did not know if I'd like it as much as Hampton Roads. The beach, I've got my family there. Oh my gosh, we love it. The grit, the culture, we're not a cul-de-sac. No offense to Hampton Roads, because I still love Hampton Roads, but you drive in, you have to turn around and come back. Richmond is, you can get everywhere. And then finally, the leaders. There are so many good leaders here trying to do great work, moving Richmond forward. And it's hard. It would be hard to pick 2. So here, I've got a few for you.
Go for it.
They're all female leaders.
This has been a theme. There's a lot of powerhouse females.
There are, and that's another reason why I like everybody's energy. And Aaron is somebody that I met early. Tremendous leader, doing some amazing work.
He's blushing.
Yeah, but it's true, and his lovely wife too. And it's the connections. And so there's a few. I would say Lisa Sims. She's an incredible leader. She runs Venture Richmond.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about
Greta Harris. She's amazing human. I definitely would have her on here if she would be willing.
What is she?
She's the Greater Housing Coalition.
Oh, huge need. Yep.
Jamie Swain, who runs VPM.
What's that?
Virginia Public Media.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Jennifer Wakefield.
Oh, I love Jennifer Wakefield.
She is a little powerhouse.
She is a powerhouse.
She's the CEO of Greater Richmond Partnership. Catherine O'Donnell is the president of the it's been about a year now, Richmond Region Tourism.
Oh,
She's
yes,
got a
her
great
name's come
story.
up.
She's all great humans doing really, really good work. And one of my favorite friends, Lori Warren.
This name has come up, I think. This is number 4. 4 times.
We worked together at Landmark. And when I was running, I was the VP of Sales and Marketing, and she was on my team, and she ran Style Weekly. So we've been friends forever, and she's the first female president of the Richmond Racetrack, and she became the first female of the Richmond Racetrack around the same time I became the first female of the RTD. And we created Women Who Drive Richmond, and it's an annual event where we recognize just amazing women doing incredible things and moving Richmond forward, and we do it at the racetrack. And so she's got a great story too, but yes. I could go on and on and on. You've got many years of just
list.
Amazing people to interview, and then there's some great guys too. Brian Anderson, who runs the chamber. And,
yes.
You're going to have tons of people
More than
and
enough
leaders.
leaders.
Yeah, and they all are just good humans trying to do good work, not only in Richmond but across the region. Michael Sparks too, who runs Underground Kitchen.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
You're not going to know what he's going to say. So you
those
need
are the
to
best.
but he's got a great story. He's doing wonderful things. Also, just trying to feed and ensure that the people that need it don't go hungry. Very similar to Feed More. Not as large as Feed More, but he's an interesting guy. He would be fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the introductions.
Yep, you're welcome.
And just thank you for being with us this morning.
Yeah,
Such
this
an
was fun.
inspiration.
It's
This
great.
was fun. All right. Thank you so much, listeners. We'll see you in a few weeks. Hey, listener, if you enjoyed today's session, take a moment and subscribe, or comment below. Especially leave a comment of a leader that inspires you here in Richmond that might be a great future guest. Also, if you're finding this session compelling and eager to learn more about yourself and your own leadership, don't hesitate to click into my website listed in the description and schedule a complimentary call. I'd love to learn more about you. Thank you.